Hey guys, it is April from Getting Huggo With It. Today I have a little book haul for you. This is part 2 of my March book haul. Now, I'm sorry about the light if it's kind of off. The sun is just starting to set, and of course this is naturally when I felt like filming, so we're rolling with it. I hope you don't mind. In this book haul, I've got a little bit of nonfiction, I've got a lot of historical fiction, and I've got 1 or 2 mysteries that you might be interested in. So let's jump into it. First up, I have I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. Now, I had this at work. Why it was at work, I have literally no idea. I think I must have brought it in one day to show a friend or something at work, and then I had just left it there for years, and so I forgot all about it. I'm switching offices. I was in a cubicle and now I'm moving to an office, and lo and behold, I found this, and I remember that I had started this but hadn't finished it. And I personally really love Maya Angelou, so I knew that this was going to come home with me, of course. Now, I might end up listening to this on audiobook because Maya actually narrates it for the audiobook, and if you've heard Maya Angelou speak, you'll know why I want to listen to this book. She has such a calming but powerful and just amazing voice. You can't listen to her and not want to pause everything that you're doing and just soak it all in. So yes, I'll definitely be listening to this one soon. I also picked up The Cat's Table by Michael Ondaatje. Now, this is an interesting one. It is about a little boy in the 1950s. He is put on this boat and he's being sent to England. He's 11 years old. I don't know if he's an orphan or not, but it's about his journey on this ship and the other children that he meets and the people that he sits with at the cat's table. I think they're all assigned tables, and he's got this group of people that he sits with. And it sounded really interesting to me. I picked this up yesterday at a library sale and read the first few pages, and I was already being drawn into the story and wanted to know what was going to happen to this little boy. I also picked up Loving Frank by Nancy Horan. This is a historical fiction book that reimagines the relationship between Mama Barwith Cheney and Frank Lloyd Wright. Now, Mama, I must be saying her name wrong, but she and her husband Edwin actually hired the architect to build their home, and while that was happening, she and Frank Lloyd Wright ended up having an affair, so this kind of imagines what that affair entailed. It sounds almost voyeuristic. There's something about this that makes me a little unsettled, but it's supposed to be really good, and so I grabbed it when I saw it. Have any of you read this book? Because as I was leaving, I was like, I don't think I've heard of anyone on YouTube talking about it, so I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. I also picked up an Agatha Christie. This is the Seven Dials mystery. Jerry Wade had proved himself to be a champion sleeper, so the other house guest decided to play a practical joke on him. 8 alarm clocks were set to go off, one after the other, starting at 6:30 a.m. But when morning arrived, one clock was missing, and the prank then backfired with tragic consequences. For Jimmy Thesiger in particular, the words 7 dials were to take on a new and chilling significance. I'm eager for this one. I read And Then There Were None last year, and I just loved it so much, and this has a bit of a similar vibe, and so I'm hoping that I like it just as much. Simon & Schuster kindly sent me Her Pretty Face by Robin Harding. Now, Robin Harding wrote The Party. So this is her new book that's coming out in July. I didn't know that she had a new one coming out at all, and I actually was just sent this randomly from Simon & Schuster, which was exciting. I never read The Party, but it had been on my radar for sure. Now this is interesting. It kind of has a Liane Moriarty vibe, because this is about a woman named Frances Metcalf. She's a stay-at-home mom with a troubled son. Now, she sends her son to the elite Forester Academy. So when she sends her son to this academy, she's really excited for him. She's really trying to intermingle with the moms of the kids at the school, and yet she's feeling consistently rejected. Except there is this one person, this one woman, who is beautiful and just as, you know, posh as the other moms. And this woman named Kate Randolph totally accepts Frances. They become very good friends. But then there's a startling secret that threatens to tear them apart, because one of these women is not who she seems. Her real name is Amber Kunick, and she's a murderer. I feel like a lot of this book is going to have a Liane Moriarty vibe, but of course there's more of a thriller element to it. So I was very excited to get this. And I love that the cover of this book has these tiny raindrops all over it, and they're like raised, so they're like bumpy. I really love that when you got like multi-dimensional kind of books, so yay! At another library book sale, I picked up The Fire by Night by Teresa Messineo. This was a very big historical fiction release, I believe in the summer of 2017. So I was very pleased to find this book. Now this follows women during World War II and their roles during World War II. A lot of the time in World War II, the heroes are men, because usually the men went and fought. But there were plenty of heroes that were female, that were women behind the lines, acting as nurses or what have you. And so this follows some of those women. At the heart of this one stands two women, U.S. Army nurses, whose extraordinary heroism you have never heard of but will never forget. Now, I'm not sure if this is based on a true story or not, or based on real life women, but I think we follow one nurse who's fighting the war in Germany. Then there's another nurse who is fighting the war in the Pacific. So it sounds really great. You know how much I love a World War II fiction book, so hooray. I also picked up Born a Crime by Trevor Noah. Now, I love Trevor Noah. I watch Trevor Noah every single day. I am a granny though, so I record him and then I watch him on my lunch hour usually. I just love him. He's so hilarious, and he's also so knowledgeable. And his childhood in South Africa during the apartheid is a story that I would love to know, and so I'm very, very eager for this. His book is actually being turned into a movie, so so happy that I got this, and I got this for $1. Yes, I did. Library book sales, I'm telling you, they're amazing. Okay, next up I've got another historical fiction. This is The Reader by Bernard Schlink. This follows a 15-year-old student named Michael Berg and Hannah, a woman who's like twice his age. They begin to have a relationship of some sort that leads to a romantic relationship. Now, I believe, well, obviously he's totally underage and this is entirely wrong. But she disappears from his life one day, and it's some years later. He is a young law student, and he happens upon Hannah, and she's on trial for a horrific crime. She refuses to defend herself in this crime, and this is their story. Now, I saw the movie with Kate Winslet, I believe, like years ago. I know the basic premise of it, but I have wanted to read this, so I definitely wanted this on my shelves and I'll be picking it up for sure. Next up, I got Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, I am planning on reading The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo over the spring months, and I thought if I really like that, I'll probably want to read more Taylor Jenkins Reid. So when I saw this for $1 at a library book sale, I had to pick it up. This follows Hannah Martin at the age of 29. She's kind of unclear about the direction of her life. And she and her friend Gabby meet one day at a bar, and then she bumps into her high school boyfriend, Ethan. So it's at this point that the storylines kind of split in two. So she can either follow Gabby home after the bar, or she can go with Ethan, and we follow both storylines and we find out what happens to Hannah if she chose one storyline or another. And I'm really hoping that it's a good one. So let me know if you've read Maybe in Another Life. I feel like most people who have read Taylor Jenkins Reid just loves her. So let me know if you're in that camp or not. Last up, I've got The Boys in the Boat by Daniel James Brown. This is a nonfiction book about the U.S. Olympic rowing team just going into World War II, and they're up against Germany, and it's about their experiences. And I've heard nothing but amazing things about this book from Modern Mrs. Darcy. Anne Bogle over there has just raved about this, and she's like pressed this book into so many people's hands, and now I want it to be in my hands. So those are all of the books that I picked up in March. Let me know if you had any successes buying books this month, and if you did, what was that book that you were super excited that you got? Yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Bye!